Hey Browns fans, Nathan Zegura here with another position preview as we get ready for the Browns 2024 season, and today we're going to look at the running backs. And now normally this one is easy. Nick Chubb. That's all you need to know, right? Nick Chubb, 4 straight Pro Bowls in the 4 seasons prior to 2023, averaged over 1,250 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns rushing per season in that span. He is the best running back in the National Football League, but as we all know, he suffered that horrific injury in Week 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, and so now we don't know going into the 24 season when we will be able to have Nick Chubb in the backfield. And so for the first time in many, many years since Nick Chubb was drafted, quite frankly, there are questions about the Cleveland Browns backfield. And so we've got some guys returning and we've got some new faces coming in. To lead off the returners, of course, there's Jerome Ford, the 5th-round pick in 2 drafts ago out of the University of Cincinnati. Last year had to step into a major role when Nick Chubb went down, and Jerome Ford did that very effectively. He ran for 813 yards and 4 touchdowns, as well as catching 44 passes for 319 yards and 5 touchdowns. Add it all up, 1,132 yards from scrimmage and 9 scores from Jerome Ford, who figures to be a big part of the Browns' plans as long as Nick Chubb remains out. Now, joining him in the backfield is somebody who I think could have a big season for the Browns, and he is a big back in his own right, Deontay Foreman. He joins the Browns after spending last season with the Chicago Bears, and he is a big, strong bruiser. Foreman's a former 3rd-round pick of the Houston Texans back in 2017. Actually started his career with our quarterback, Deshaun Watson there, and he's bounced around a little bit. Tennessee, Carolina, Chicago as well. For his career, he's run for 2,026 yards and 14 touchdowns, averaging 4.2 yards per carry. And remember I said he's a big back? How does 6 foot, 235 pounds sound to you? He is a big physical runner, and if you think about the role that Kareem Hunt played for the Browns last year as he ran for a career-high 9 rushing touchdowns, that's the role that I think Deontay Foreman could play while Nick Chubb is out. The goal line back, the hammer, the power back late in games when defenses are worn down. And here's a stat I absolutely love about Deontay Foreman. When he's been given the opportunity to be a star and really the bell cow for his team, he has delivered the goods. In 11 career games with 19 or more carries, he's rushed for more than 100 yards 7 times and more than 90 yards 9 times. So he has been very productive when given those opportunities, and I think he is a sneaky guy to play a big role for the Cleveland Browns here while Nick Chubb is out early, if he is out early in the 2024 season. Also back in the backfield this year, you've got Pierre Strong, and I like Pierre Strong. A lot of acceleration, a lot of bursts, an ability to turn a short run into a long run, and I think he's a guy who has the potential not only to be a great running back for the Browns, but really help in the kick return game. With these new rules, he's looked very good out here at minicamp and could take some to the house. Strong actually led the Browns last year with 4.6 yards per carry. He had 1 rushing touchdown, 5 catches for 47 yards as well. But you could see that talent. It almost looks like he's moving at a different speed sometimes. Now, the 4th running back who could be in the mix certainly early this season, we talked about that kick return rule. Well, what about Najee Hines? Now, he's coming back from a season-ending injury in 2023. Did not play last year, but he has an opportunity, I think, to be a dynamic returner and also a very good pass catcher out of the backfield for the Browns. Hines is entering his 7th season in the NFL, and he's been a guy really who could do it all, spending most of his career at the beginning with the Indianapolis Colts. He's run for over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's caught for over 1,700 yards and 8 more touchdowns. And then remember, I mentioned the return game. Well, he owns 2 career punt return touchdowns and 2 career kick return touchdowns. You may remember the name Najee Hines. He was the guy who opened the game with a kick return for a touchdown following the Damar Hamlin scare late in that season for the Buffalo Bills. It was an emotional play, one of the most emotional plays of the entire 2022 NFL season. So those 4, I think, are going to round out that room, and you're going to have kind of a running back by committee as long as Nick Chubb's not ready to go. Once he's ready to go, Nick Chubb, I'm sure, will be eased back, but he will be the man once again for the Cleveland Browns, and I know we all can't wait to see that. A couple other running backs to know as you get ready for training camp. You know, there are going to be position battles, right? Because in the sense that we don't have that superstar, we don't have those defined roles yet, we're going to have to figure out how that goes. But some guys that are going to scratch and claw to try to either make this roster or stay in the Browns program will be running back John Kelly, who spent numerous seasons on the Browns practice squad, and then this year's undrafted free agent Aiden Robbins, who the Browns signed after the draft. A bigger back, strong back. He's got an opportunity to compete out of BYU. So that's a look at the running back room. That's where things stand. The question is, when will we see Nick Chubb again? And hopefully we get that answer sooner rather than later. For the latest on your Cleveland Browns, as always, keep it tuned to clevelandbrowns.com and the Browns mobile app. This has been our position preview looking at the running backs.